In January 2022, we completed a 5-night cruise on the Royal Caribbean ship Mariner of the Seas, and this is my cruise review. Hey everyone, it's Patrick from Oakland Travel. Whenever we complete a cruise, we always look back and kind of do a review of the cruise and take stock in what we found different from previous cruises and positives, negatives, and so forth. So this is my review of our January 2022 cruise on the Mariner of the Seas. I have 10 items that are basically positives / observations and one very glaring negative. So let's get started. Number 1 is the crew. They are always the best part of cruising with Royal Caribbean, but on this cruise, we noticed an even greater desire to make sure that every guest was as pleased with their vacation as possible. We met some new friends on the last night of the cruise who were all first-time cruisers, and they commented on how surprised they were at the level of service by the crew. Some examples of what I would describe as very attentive service would be an officer in the windjammer during breakfast, actively checking with guests at each table, directing other crew members on certain things, and even helping those crew members to clear tables after the guests had exited. All of the crew members in the windjammer for either breakfast or lunch were very consistent throughout the cruise at delivering exceptional service. Head waiter Neville in the main dining room on Deck 3 in the area of Table 165. He was always checking in with us every night at dinner, making sure we had a good time and that everything was exceptional and perfect and the way it should be. He worked with all the crew members serving us at dinner, helping them clear the tables, etc. Our waiters every night for dinner at Table 165, Icadec and Myathan, they were the definition of amazing service. Number 2 was ordering drinks. There were several instances where the crew members taking our order wouldn't even take the CPAS card. They would just ask for our room number. In the instances where they did take the CPAS card, they pretty much swiped it and handed it back to us. It was very rare for one of them to print a slip for us to sign. In the instances where I wanted to get the slip where I could add an additional tip, I had to specifically ask them to print the slip. And in 1 or 2 occasions, they said something about they couldn't because of a problem with the machine. It was strange and out of place from previous Royal Caribbean cruises, as recently as August 2021. The reasoning may be to minimize the inconvenience for the passenger, but it seems to deprive the crew member of the possibility of an additional tip. This is neither positive or negative, it's just an observation of a change from previous cruises. Number 3 is my time dining in the main dining room. This was exceptionally smooth. Royal Caribbean has apparently moved in the direction of allowing the passengers to try to stay with the same table or waitstaff during the duration of the cruise. At the end of dinner on the first night, we were able to stop at the check-in desk at the entrance of the main dining room and advise them that we wanted Table 165 for the remaining nights of the cruise. We had already made our 7:30 p.m. reservations in the cruise planner prior to the cruise, so the crew member added the desired table to our remaining nights of the cruise and we were all set. Each night, we just told them our stateroom number and they found one of the tables in the section of Table 165, so that even if that table wasn't available, we'd still have the same desired waiter and assistant waiter. It worked out extremely well. Number 4, the nightclub part of the Viking Crown Lounge, Ellington's, hosted a trivia event several times a day throughout most of the cruise. This was a nice change of pace, as our most recent cruise in August of 2021, whenever we would visit the lounge during the day, it was quiet with no events. Number 5 is the Diamond Lounge. We recently became Diamond status in Crown and Anchor, so this was our first cruise where we were able to actually enter and enjoy the Diamond Lounge, and it was very nice and very popular at certain times of the cruise. Number 6 is mostly an observation. In a case of bad timing, Boleros did not have a live band throughout the cruise because of an equipment issue, so it was very quiet throughout the cruise. The bartenders were amazing as usual, but it was strange to be there at night with no music playing. Number 7 is also an observation. Because of COVID, the breakfast and lunch buffets in the main dining room have been stopped. In addition, breakfast and lunch are not available in the main dining room or on port days, mostly due to the number of passengers who decide to get off the ship to visit the ports. Number 8, in several areas of the ship, such as the pool area and the main dining room, I noticed a subtle change in the type of music being played. It was more of a background chill vibe and not some of the worn-out top 40 songs from a few decades ago. If Royal Caribbean could just weed out those remaining old top 40 songs from the rest of the ship, it would be just fine by me. Number 9, the departure process needs a modification. They only offered 2 categories of departure, a self-assist with departure times set up in the morning that were rather early, and then the regular departure for the remaining time slots. The regular departure is the expectation that you will leave your luggage out the night before. For people like me who want to self-assist but want to leave at one of the latest time slots possible, you're not really covered by either of these two options. In our case, we notified our stateroom attendant on the last night of the cruise that we'd be leaving on the last time slot available, but we would also be taking our luggage with us. Therefore, we wouldn't need any luggage tags. He said that was no problem at all and seemed to suggest that we weren't the first ones to ask for that. And number 10, the bamboo room on the promenade on Deck 5 turned out to be our favorite watering hole. They have an excellent menu of drinks and they make a very fine mojito. And now we come to the one and only negative item on my entire list, and that was the internet. It was painful. Let me reiterate that. It was painful. The ship should have been upgraded to the latest satellite-based internet, O3b mPower, by now, but it isn't. Not only was the bandwidth a problem, you couldn't even do a speed test at times because the connection was so poor. There were numerous instances in our stateroom where we couldn't even connect to the ship's Wi-Fi because the Wi-Fi access points were too far away from the stateroom. This was literally the equivalent of dial-up internet in the 90s. In the days using a modem over a phone line. I relayed these thoughts to Royal Caribbean in the post-cruise survey, and I really hope they do something about it. That's it. That's my list of observations from our January 15th, 2022 cruise on the Mariner of the Seas. We had an amazing time and can't wait to our next cruise, which is May 2022 on the Harmony of the Seas. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this. Please show your support by giving it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you're subscribed with that notification bell on, so you're notified every time I put up a new video or start a new live stream.